Hey guys, my name is Carl Burkhead. I'm an attorney with Worth Law Office in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I've been practicing criminal law for over 8 years now, and I want to help you make law easy by telling you about the new changes in the criminal statutes that are coming in 2026. This next one I'm going to talk about is called the HALO Law. That sounds like a very fun name. What it means is it is now considered illegal to interfere with any emergency service personnel while they're doing their job. The law specifically says you cannot linger within 25 feet after being instructed to leave with the purpose to interfere with what they're doing or harass them or to get involved. So what does this mean? Let's say you're out with your buddies and you're just having a drive and you get into a car accident. Obviously, you call 911 because there's serious injuries. EMT shows up, fire trucks show up, law enforcement shows up, and they tell you to clear away and let them work. Clear away and let them work. If you're within 25 feet and they can establish that you are interfering with their job, you're facing a misdemeanor. Carries up to a year in jail. It's a real silly thing to get arrested for, but guys, it's also really easy to make that mistake when you're in the heat of the moment. You're stressed, you don't know what's going on. The best thing you can do is listen to whoever's in charge. If the cops have control of the scene, they tell you to back away, do it. Firefighters, same thing. EMTs, same thing. They have a job, and their job right now in that moment is to save lives. So you absolutely need to obey their instructions, even if you don't agree with it. Because now, if you choose to do your own thing, you're going to be facing jail time. If you have questions about this, or if you're facing this type of charge, definitely give me a call. My name is Carl Burkhead. I'm with Worth Law Office, and I want to help you make law easy. Thank you.
So let's jump right in. As you can see from the beginning of this video, a lawyer from Tulsa, Oklahoma, was talking about Oklahoma's new HALO law, and so this has went into effect 1st November 2025. And so since it's gone into effect, I've received numerous questions about it, questions about how to circumnavigate this new law, and so I kind of want to talk about it now. With that being said, obviously the lawyer gave his opinion, which he's legally allowed to do. So you heard him, right? Law enforcement says stay, 25 feet away. Listen to his advices, do it, listen to it, is what it is. And if you get in trouble for it, give him a call, right? Legal advice, that's what you can expect from a lawyer. Now, with that being said, my purpose of this is not to give you any legal advice. Again, I'm not a lawyer, have a law degree, not a lawyer, no desire to be a lawyer. But I will tell you what advice I would give myself. So for law enforcement asking, I will tell you what I'm going to do as a state law enforcement officer, state criminal investigator for the state of Oklahoma, who has a law degree, advanced certifications, FLETC instructor, resume goes on and on. So with that being said, I'm going to tell you the advice I'm giving myself, because for me, this law changes nothing about how I've conducted and will continue to conduct policing here in the state of Oklahoma or anywhere for that regard. Okay. And so let me also be 100% honest with my biases. Okay. I think it's important. I took an oath of affirmation when I joined the military. I've taken an oath of affirmation when I became a law enforcement officer to the United States Constitution. And that is an oath that I take very seriously that has no expiration date. So again, let me just be honest with my biases, right? My biases are, I believe in the Constitution of the United States of America, and I support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America. So that's a bias I have that clearly not a lot of other, law enforcement officers may have, maybe even military service members may have. So while a lot of military service members and law enforcement officers have taken an oath of affirmation to the Constitution, there's many that don't really care about that oath of affirmation, and then congruently may not even know what the Constitution states. So let me just kind of throw that out there just to make sure we're all on the same page here. So what is Oklahoma's HALO law? Well, as you can see here on your screen, Oklahoma HALO law 21, Oklahoma statute 540D, as in David, basically establishes a statute called interfering or threatening first responders. First responders shall include, again, police officers, section 99, title 21, correctional officers, probation officers, parole officers, emergency medical technicians, emergency medical care providers, etc. They're defining harass as means to willfully engage in a course of conduct directed at first responder, which intentionally distracts the first responder from performing his or her official duties and serves no legitimate purpose. Shall be unlawful for a person receiving a verbal warning not to approach the person he or she knows to reasonably should know as a first responder who is engaging in lawful performance of legal duty to knowingly, willfully violate such warning and approach or remain within 25 feet of the first responder with the intent to impede, interfere with the ability of the first responder to perform such duties, threaten the first responder with physical harm, or harass the first responder. Again, anybody who violates this provision of section law shall be convicted, be guilty of a misdemeanor. So, this is now a new misdemeanor crime in the state of Oklahoma again. Title 21, Section 21-540D. So, Title 21, Section 540D. And so, with that being said, this is very interesting. This is very interesting because there is a lot of law enforcement officers around the state that is construing this to mean filming law enforcement and performance of their duties, right? So that is what they are. That's what they're saying. You know, there's a lot of law enforcement all over the state that say, well, we can arrest people that are recording us. We give them a warning, and if they're within 25 feet of us, we can arrest them because they are stating that somebody using public photography is, you know, now impeding or interfering with the law enforcement or first responders' ability to perform their duties, right? And so they are considering that to be harassing, right? If you're using public photography to record us, you are willfully engaging in a course of conduct directed at us, which intentionally distracts us, right? So that is distracting. Therefore, since it's distracting, I give you a warning. If you're still within that 25 feet, cool, easy arrest. That is what a lot of law enforcement officers are implying. And then when you get lawyers like at the very beginning who are like, hey, if they tell you to get away, get away. Well, that kind of reinforces and emboldens this idea that, yeah, as a police officer, can I just come on scene? Hey, I'm giving you a warning. I see you have that phone in your hand. Back up 25 feet. Oh, you don't want to? Tape measure, tape measure, tape measure. You're within 25 feet. Turn around, put your hands behind your back. You're under arrest. That's how a lot of law enforcement is taking this to mean. Now, with that being said, you as a law enforcement officer, you take it any way that you want, right? I'm not your FTO. I'm not here to tell you what to do. But I can tell you, again, I have a bias. It's the Constitution of the United States of America. So when I look at this as somebody that is informed and somebody that understands the case law precedences and also understands, and we'll talk about this a little further, judicial review, I absolutely do not take this statute to mean that at all. In fact, by and large, I think the statutes, I don't think the statute's going to pass judicial review doctrine at all. And I think that officers that are using this as a way to especially arrest people that record them, I think they're putting themselves in a very bad predicament. So let's talk about some of the court cases that are out there. You can see this on your screen. Numerous United States courts of appeal have upheld and affirmed the First Amendment right to openly record police officers performing their duties in public spaces. So ACLU versus Alvarez, Fulton versus City of Philadelphia, Turner, Fifth Circuit case, Gilk versus First Circuit 2011. And so when we look at this, right, the United States Court of Appeals have affirmed that you have a right to record law enforcement in the performance of their duties. So if there is a car accident or if there is an incident that's ongoing, the courts of appeals have said, yeah, you absolutely can record law enforcement in the performance of their duties. That's 100% affirmed constitutional, right? And then we look at the case of Glick. This gentleman was arrested. He was 10 feet away and was not interfering with the arrest. And one of the officers turned to him and placed him in handcuffs and told him, I think you've taken enough pictures. Well, that arrest was deemed unconstitutional. So when we look at court case precedences, we can already see where law enforcement has lost qualified immunity for arresting citizens for journalism. It's well established. According to these case laws, it's even stating that public photography is a well-established right. And so when we look at this, and I have to look at this in totality, and I have to look at this from a level of basic educational acumen, that is not an arrest that I am comfortable with doing. Number one, again, I support the Constitution of the United States of America. Court of Appeals has affirmed what those interpretations mean. And so for me to be like, hey, I know all this case law exists, I'm just going to ignore it. That would be very unintelligent of me to do. With that being said, most police officers in the state of Oklahoma have no idea. And when I mean most, I mean you might find 1 out of 100 that can quote these case laws to you. And so, when I say 1 out of every 100, I hope it's at least 1 out of every 100 law enforcement officers can quote these case laws to you. And so, the question becomes: is ignorance of this case law knowledge, is the ignorance of it justifiable? Well, according to numerous court of appeals, they have already established that the right to record law enforcement officers in the performance of their duty, again, is previously noted and acceptable, right? Like, this is a well-established right that people have. And so the courts have already affirmed that as well. So not saying you don't know, the courts have said isn't an excuse anymore. And again, we have law enforcement that have actively lost qualified immunity, and some of these cases are years and years old. So with that being said, we have to go back and revert back again to the judicial review doctrine. Again, Mayberry versus Madison. And what's important to know is this is very well established from 1803. Okay, so again, gosh, guys, like, it's just, law enforcement, you guys got to get a better understanding of case law, because this is what's destroying you guys. Again, so judicial review doctrine: the United States Supreme Court has established that the principle of judicial review, meaning American courts have the power to strike down laws and statutes they find to be violate the Constitution of the United States. Again, this was decided in 1803, and Marbury is regarded as the single most important decision in American constitutional law. And again, so this is supposedly the most important decision in American constitutional law, and 1 out of every 100 officers may know that it even exists. And their job is to uphold the law. Okay? And again, the United States Constitution is actual law, not just a statement of political principles and ideals. Furthermore, it solidified the Supreme Court's role in the ultimate interpreter of the Constitution and ensured an American system of checks and balances within the United States government. And so, again, this is important to note. And I think it's important that law enforcement understands that. Just because you have a state statute does not mean that state statute is constitutional. And that is, I think, the hardest thing for law enforcement officers to understand, because case law is literally the whole purpose of case law. There's thousands of case law. The purpose of case law is the checks and balances. So if every state statute was constitutional, we wouldn't have case law. I need you to really understand that, law enforcement. Think about what I just said. If every state statute was constitutional, we wouldn't have case law, because there'd be no need to revert those decisions, to revert those statutes and say, no, that's a violation of rights. We wouldn't need it. Just think about that for a second. Wild to think about. So there you have it. I hope this video was helpful for you guys. If you have any questions, leave in the comment section below. But tell me, especially for my Oklahoma viewers that are out there, if you're out there, all my viewers, tell me, what do you think of the statute? Did you even know the statute was put into effect last year, November? What do you think about it? What do you think is going to happen with it? And how many violations? Do you think law enforcement is going to use this to violate people's rights? Do you see case law being made on this pretty quick? Tell me what your thoughts are in the comment section below. I want to hear them. And as always, guys, long live the Republic.